What's going on, you bunch of heathens? Just finished up the song, jumping straight into the history of it. Hope you guys enjoyed the song. I certainly did. And I hope you guys are excited as me to check out the history behind it. This is Sabaton History, Valley of Death, Battles of Doiran. Let's jump in.
I'm Sabaton.
And I'm Indy Nidell.
And you are watching Sabaton History channel, and this one is about Valley of Death.
Valley of Death.
God, the trumpets and shit, so good.
I'm just gonna say right out now at the beginning what I used to say a lot when I was writing and presenting the Great War, especially 1917 and 1918. The Bulgarian defenses in the Balkans along the Salonika or Macedonian front were, in my opinion, the best defense system of any nation on any front in the First World War. Okay,
high praise.
In late 1915, the first British troops arrived at the Balkan theater. As part of a multinational allied army, the five-nation Army of the Orient, they would see action against all of the Central Powers, but specifically here Bulgaria, which had recently entered the Great War on the side of the Central Powers, who had direct communication lines from Berlin to Istanbul. The overall strategy seemed simple. Break Bulgaria's hold on Serbia, advance into the Vardar River Valley, and push the Bulgarians all the way back to Sofia. To do that, the British decided to put pressure on the area west of Lake Doyran, a major strategic objective since it guarded Costarino Pass. But a first battle there in August 1916 ended in disaster. Each attack was repulsed with heavy casualties as the Bulgarians tenaciously defended their well-prepared positions. What had gone wrong?
Yeah, tell us.
The countryside west of Lake Doyran is a labyrinth of hills, gullies, and ravines. Broken terrain that was well incorporated into a defensive system.
Yeah, that'd be hard to attack. I mean, especially if they've been preparing for it. I mean, it's just making me think of, like, some of the islands that the U.S. had to fight the Japanese on during World War II. Where... like, look at, say, Iwo Jima and whatnot, where they had defenses built into the actual mountainside, made it incredibly hard to attack. Even if you want to necessarily say it, more recently, the U.S. against the Taliban in, like, Afghanistan, how they use the mountain caves and whatnot, cave networks to defend against, as bases of operation, pretty much. I mean, it would be really hard to attack them.
German and Bulgarian engineers worked tirelessly to turn a natural fortress into a major stronghold. Undisturbed for more than half a year, they had built 3 defensive trench lines running across hills and ridges, each of increasing
very well
height.
defended then.
The little mountain range the British dubbed Pip Ridge was 600 meters high, and each of its 6 peaks heavily fortified. The narrow passages leading up, not much wider than mule tracks, were covered by machine guns and barbed wire. To the east, almost the same height, rose Grand Coronet. On its peak, the Bulgarians had built their major observation post. The British nicknamed it the Evil Eye, or the Eye of the Devil, for it overlooked all their lines, and nothing escaped its gaze, like the Eye of Sauron.
I wonder if that's where Tolkien got his reference from.
Tolkien fought in World War I, though not on this front.
I know he did get it on this front, but I wonder if he got, like, the Eye of Sauron from that. Like, he knew someone who fought there or something like that. That'd be interesting.
Months.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Barbed wire, wooden beams, and tons of steel and concrete. With steel picks and drills, the men drove into the solid rock, blasting out dugouts and trenches with explosives. Deep into the earth, they dug ammunition stores and command bunkers, some with concrete roofs 2 meters thick. Each of the defensive sectors had machine gun bunkers and trench mortar positions in place, often protected by steel and concrete to withstand bombardments. Heavy Bulgarian artillery batteries ranging from 105 millimeters to 150 millimeters were also well dispersed and hidden among the hills. One recipe for a successful defense during the Great War lay in the close cooperation of gunners and their observers. Great emphasis here was put on establishing an efficient network of communications. Telephone lines were buried deep in the earth, and there was...
God, hold up. Let me go back to that. That's really cool looking just in general, but also, it's just kind of pretty. That looks pretty. And it's just in black and white, but looking out into the mountains and whatnot, I could just imagine how pretty this area actually is.
And there was also a system of semaphore flags, carrier pigeons, and heliograph signals in place. To pinpoint targets, topographical experts had made surveys of the area and prepared detailed ranging tables. To complete all this, the lines were held by one of Bulgaria's top military units, the 9th.
Oh, that's right. They also have, yeah. If they had that much time to prepare and they went undisturbed for so long, they would absolutely have everything dialed into what they would need. So it's not a guess. It's just, hey, they're here. Okay, they're there. Check the tables. This is what we got to do. Hit them instantly. Like, yeah.
Very experienced, well-trained, and well-equipped. The Plaven Division would meet any attacker with a hail of machine gun fire, hand grenades, and trench mortar shells. And this was pretty much the area the British were supposed to break. On April 22nd, 1917, the Second Battle of Doiran began.
Doyran, okay, that's how you say it.
In a long preliminary bombardment, over 3 days long, British artillery peppered the mountains in hopes of cutting the wire and smashing the Bulgarian guns and dugouts. With blackened faces, the men of the British 22nd and 26th Divisions stormed up the hills during the night. The plan was to surprise the defenders with a night attack. But dozens of searchlights suddenly lit up, illuminating their approach. Then the advancing troops got hit by very accurate defensive fire. Scrambling up and down the steep slopes, the British soldiers were half walking, half crawling across the ridges, through the thick and thorny brushwood. Only the occasional boulders protected them from gunfire and shrapnel. But once hit, the ricochet would send deadly rock splinters flying all over. Those who made it all the way to the top got to discover that there was not just a single trench line to overcome, but several strong points that mutually supported each other. Although the barbed wire was, in fact, destroyed in most places, the attacking troops were caught by enfilading machine gun and mortar fire, while the artillery cut them off from the reserves.
God, I just keep thinking of certain videos of like Afghanistan. Like there's the one video that is pretty famous that I watched on Funkers. I want to say it was a Marine who got caught off on the side of a fucking like mountain / hill or whatever, taking fire around, I want to say hit his gun maybe, and he had to lay back, but you could see the insurgents were shooting at him, and you could see the rocks getting hit near him, and he had to lay back against some like boulders and rocks and shit that were poking up out the side of the hill as they all went around him. And then also I'm thinking of this part specifically where they're going through the valley, they're the two sides. I think of the Medal of Honor from 2010 or 2011 on what was it? Belly of the Beast mission as the Army Rangers, the very first Army Ranger mission, where you have to fight up through the valley as you were taking fire from the Taliban up on the sides. It's instantly where my mind went.
Those who broke into the enemy lines were met by heavy Bulgarian counterattacks. Only a few stragglers that weren't killed or captured returned back to their own lines.
This is a late one.
The second assault against the lines at Doyran didn't fare much better than the first. It did, however, bring the British closer to the Bulgarian lines. To dig new trenches, they worked with picks and sledgehammers in full view of the enemy. Constantly harassed by sniper and artillery fire, Allied High Command wanted to attack again as soon as possible. The new plan, though, was much like the old plan, except the already in...
What a shit fucking position to be in. Like, hey, you're a tiny bit closer to the actual lines. Go ahead and dig trenches here, but you're going to be in full view of the enemy, and you're going to be constantly fucking harassed and shot at.
Adequate artillery bombardment
shit.
was supplemented by gas shells. But of the 65,000 gas shells the British had requested, they got maybe 20,000. And more than half of these were defective. It was a recurring problem that the British War Office thought little of the war in the Balkans. The gardeners of Salonika, as the men there were often called. The 200 big guns assembled were nothing more than table scraps, with only 75 of them equal or larger than a 60-pounder. Ammunition was also really limited, so that's not good to begin with for an attack.
Oh,
But
that
unknown to
sucks.
them, the Bulgarians were very well versed in anti-gas training. The 9th Pleven had more than enough modern gas masks at hand, and there were several meteorological stations around Doyran that warned when the weather was favorable for an enemy gas attack. Already on May 8th, the next major attack began, and the British preliminary barrage fell once more between
that's
Lake
such a
Doyran
cool
and Kip
picture.
Ridge. In another night attack, the British Berkshires and Scottish Rifles broke into the enemy trenches. But once again, Bulgarian defensive fire and counterattacks forced the attackers out of their newly won positions, often at the point of a bayonet. As the sun rose, a gruesome sight presented itself in the hills. Rows of the dead and dying, of horribly mangled corpses and decomposing corpses, told of the night's carnage. Once more, the head-on assault
really
against
is
the Doyran
gruesome.
positions was a dreadful failure. The resolute and dogged defense of the 9th Pleven, as well as a total breakdown in British communications, had doomed the assault. Fighting in the Balkans would continue, especially in the Struma Valley, but for a while, the British had no stomach to try again. It was not until the summer of 1918 that the Macedonian front returned to the spotlight.
They come from below. Twice they attack, twice they're beaten back. Every time they try, they will die. The line of defense still intact.
On the Western Front, the Kaiserschlacht, the German spring offensives, had caused major worry in Allied High Command. To relieve their hard-pressed forces with attacks elsewhere, the French sent General Franchet Desprez, Desperate Frankie, to Macedonia to have a
what
go
a
against the
fucking
Bulgarians
nickname.
with the Army of the Orient. The British were less than enthusiastic about another offensive at Lake Doyran. A lot of their troops had been sent to Palestine and Belgium as well, so what was left was weaker than a year earlier. Relief came, however, from Greece, which, after the abdication of King Constantine in June 1917, had fully committed its forces to the war against Bulgaria. Greece had replaced Russia in the five-nation army. The Russians left the war after the revolutions of 1917. So it was Britain, France, Italy, Serbia, and Greece currently in the Army of the Orient. A new plan was made to break the soft underbelly of the Central Powers. Many thought that the Bulgarians were war-weary by now, and that their army would
I'm just gonna say the Bulgarians obviously aren't the fucking soft underbelly. From what I've seen so far, they definitely aren't.
disintegrate once their lines were broken. So while Serbian and French troops would move against the Bulgarian positions in the Moglena Mountains, the British would again try their luck west of Lake Doyran. Facing the British 12th Corps was once more their old adversary, the battle-hardened 9th Pleven Division. Their defensive positions had been further improved, and with 122 artillery guns and 188 machine guns.
Great, so the British are even weaker now, and the Bulgarians have just shored up their defenses. This seems like such a great time for the fucking British. Holy crap.
In place, the Bulgarians were more than ready. In the early morning hours of September 18th, 1918, British and Greek forces went on the attack. The first push seemed promising, especially when the Greek troops of the Saras division took several strong points of Petit Coronet. Heavy hand-to-hand fighting followed as the Bulgarian defenders tenaciously held their positions with grenades and flamethrowers. Soon, the whole Lake Doyran Valley was filled with smoke, flares, and bursting shells. Poison gas filled up the narrow, winding paths as flames thrashed over the steep ridges. 3 times the attackers went up against the lines. 3 times they were beaten back. Bulgarian artillery
soft
and
underbelly my
fire
ass
was relentless. After suffering heavy casualties, the surviving units withdrew from their untenable positions. Under the gaze of the Devil's Eye, the exhausted Allied troops retreated to their starting points. British High Command had to concede that they had failed and that the Doiran front remained unbroken. And just 2 days later, the news arrived that the Bulgarians were leaving. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Leaving? This stunned the British troops, who had just suffered a major defeat, and they now received the order to pursue a rapidly retreating enemy. This came from the success of the French and Serbian forces, who had broken through the Bulgarian lines. Now in danger of being outflanked, the Bulgarian First Army had to withdraw from the Lake Doyran region. After sabotaging or destroying any equipment that could not be carried, the 9th Pleven Division left Doyran for the Costarino Pass. Had you been there when the dawn broke, had you looked from out the trenches, you'd have seen that Serbian hillside, seen the aftermath of battle, seen the scattered picks and shovels, seen the scraps of stray equipment, here and there a lonely rifle or a Lewis gun all twisted, seen the little heaps of khaki lying huddled on the hillside, huddled by the Bulgar trenches, very still and very silent. The dominoes of the Central Powers now fell rapidly, and 7 weeks later, the war was over. The gardeners of Salonika had finally knocked over the first domino.
Yeah, but the British didn't.
Bulgarians holding the line, facing wave after wave, will never surrender. Again, they attack.
Okay, so Per.
Yes.
Bulgaria. You guys have played there, right?
Yeah, recently, as we are recording this, we played there. It was a fantastic show.
This summer.
Yes, it was a festival and it was a fantastic show. And we premiered Valley of Death.
Did you? And what did?
Ooh, that
what
would
did
have
you guys
gone
say before you
crazy.
played? Did you mention that it's?
Yes, of course. Joachim was explaining a little bit like how emotional it is to write a song about a specific country and then play it in that country, but even more to premiere play it.
Yeah,
in that
that's
specific
crazy.
country. It's not
That would have
very
gone
often we had the
crazy.
chance to do that.
No.
But here was our chance because we held on to the song Valley of Death just for this specific purpose to premiere it for the Bulgarians.
Had you, before the album came? Oh, it's been out for a while now. But before it came out,
Yeah,
had you
obviously.
like teased that there would be a song about the Macedonian Salonika front?
Well, I mean, we told probably like 10 years ago that we one day gonna write a song about Bulgaria.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it took 10 years or a little bit more, actually, I guess. But they were patient. Thank you so much to all the Bulgarians watching.
I love that line. Thank you so much to all you Bulgarians out there.
And they were patient.
Tell us a little bit more about
10
your
years
travels
waiting,
there, your
yeah.
journeys there.
Okay, so we were actually we were traveling away from that show, and we were crossing over Bulgaria land, and then we came to the city of Veliki Tarnovo.
Okay.
Veliku Tarnovo. If I'm not mistaken, this used to be the
cool ass
capital
name.
of Bulgaria before a long time ago.
Yeah.
And there is a military university, and the head of the military university invited us.
Is he a fan, or he just knew you guys were coming?
He heard about the song, found out about the song, and he was like saying that he had a dream to invite us.
Yeah.
That
Dude,
dream
that's-
came true. He invited us. We came.
That's so dope.
And it was a spectacle. I mean, there was a lot of things happening in the day. First, they show us around on the military university ground.
Yeah.
And they took us underground in the crypt of our church.
Oh, that's cool. That's got to be cool.
to add a little bit.
That sounds
this,
cool
this
as
is
shit.
the same military university that General Vaso was studying.
Okay.
And so when we came out of that crypt, there was soldiers lined up.
Yeah.
There was also some soldiers who looked pretty badass. They had balaclavas and
Oh, yeah, sure. Uh-huh.
and they had weapons and things, and we were wondering what's gonna happen now. And then they played our song "Valley of Death," and they had a show, like a synchronized hand-to-hand fighting show.
No way.
To it.
Oh.
What happens then is, yeah, of course they do a lot of things that looks scary.
Yeah.
Eastern European shit.
And then we find out that they actually competed with this one in Bulgaria's Got Talent, made it to the second place in Bulgaria's
This
Got Talent.
interview gets
what?
Man, this might be my favorite one so far. I've learned more stuff today than I ever learned.
And after we did that, we did a signing session with the cadets of the university.
Yeah, cool.
And
That's
we
dope.
met a lot of them, and they even came from other parts of Bulgaria just for this. And when we were done with that, it was like, okay, this was the start of the day.
Yeah.
So then, guess what? I get to jump into a T-72 and drive out in the wilderness.
No
You got to
fucking
jump into a
way.
T-72 and drive it into the wilderness.
That is some dope fucking shit right there. It's just beginning of the day, go on a tour, they do a little show for us to our song. Oh, hey, by the way, we got second place in Bulgaria's Got Talent with this song. Or not even the song, maybe the song? Kind of confused on that. Or they're whatever. That's dope as shit. That's just the beginning of the day. Come on, we're gonna go take you driving in tanks.
It's like the best day ever. Is it like noon or something now? Or
Yeah, somewhere in the wilderness, there's a shooting range. We get to shoot different variety of weapons.
Oh, peak.
Did you get to shoot the tank? Did you get to fire that?
The tank was not shootable because of the dry season. So if you shoot with it, it can start a forest fire.
Makes
Okay,
sense. But
yeah.
you
Oh, we didn't
still
shoot
PKM or
Yeah,
PKP?
well, yeah, I'd like to.
be dope as shit.
Sabaton is an environmental friendly band. I mean, that's, I think we can all take that away from today.
And then, of course, when we were done with that, and we had spent the whole day in the field, it was super hot, by the way.
Yeah.
And some
Looks
of our
hot.
polar bears in the band that
Yeah.
comes from way up north, they were struggling a lot.
No? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were struggling a little bit to stay in this heat. But for the rest of us, and then to enjoy the night, we even got a little bit of this with us.
A little bit.
No
What is that?
way.
What's in there?
Yes.
Wine.
It's Bulgaria, so it's either some plum variant, like Slivovitz variant, or
Plum
some
wine?
rocky variant.
It's rakia.
Okay. Oh, okay. Cool. Ooh, which I prefer actually.
yeah.
Oh, rocky's good.
So we have
I don't know what that
plenty
is.
of rakia to drink here.
yeah.
Alcohol
Now,
either way.
We're gonna say goodbye in a second, but I do want to point out that Tommy might have had some problems in the heat there. But,
And
oh, okay. Yeah.
he also had some problems.
Yeah, but 10 points to the one I mentioned. When we were in Verdun, remember that when it was like snowing and he was just wearing that little corduroy jeans jacket? I'm like, this guy really is from the North Pole.
Yeah.
All right, well, you say goodbye to everybody, okay?
Thank you, everybody, for watching. You have been watching the Valley of Death episode about the Valley of Death.
About the Valley of Death and the amazing Bulgarian defenses.
Yeah, that was
during the
fun.
First
This was a
World War.
good episode.
See you next time.
No surrender, fight until then, fight until the end.
Yeah, yet again, it didn't feel like
Thanks for
18
watching.
minutes.
That was awesome, right?
That was just
So,
a fun
please,
video.
Subscribe to our channel and click that little bell so you get notifications the next time we release another episode of Sabaton History channel.
Yeah, no, yet again, that did not feel like that long. That was a really fun episode. I really enjoyed that. Make sure you guys go check out the original. Link is down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, you guys take care of yourselves. See ya.